80% of AI projects fail. Some fail silently and cheaply, while others fail expensively. I'm going to tell you how one company burns through 6 figures trying to implement AI into their business processes and still walked away with nothing in production. If you want to avoid the same mistakes, watch this video. Now, this was a proper business. They had a lot of success in the past. They had great leadership, decent budget, good engineers, but still they managed to burn through 100K in a matter of months and having nothing to show in production for it. Hi, my name is Rok, and for the past few years, I've been building, deploying, and maintaining LLM applications, helping everyone from startups to enterprises move from AI confusion to real, robust working systems in production. In this video, I'll break down the 5 most critical mistakes I saw them do, the mistakes that I see a lot of companies doing trying to implement AI. Now, if you're a business decision maker who's trying to get some value out of AI in a fast manner, instead of piling onto the hype, this is the blueprint for what not to do and how to do it right. So let's dive into the 5 key reasons why this 100K AI project failed and what you can do to avoid the same costly mistakes. Now, the first and probably the most expensive mistake they made was they started with the model and not the business problem. So their engineers were brainstorming around which LLM to use, what kind of retrieval technique would be good to use. Should they maybe use a fine-tuned model, because then you can make it really tailored to your tone and voice. But nobody asked this one simple question: what is the exact specific business outcome that we're trying to achieve? Why did it fail? Why wasn't it adopted? They built something super fancy, don't get me wrong. It was really impressive, but they solved the problem that not so many people in the company had. So then the adoption was pretty low. And if nobody is using your application, it's as well as dead in the water. What you can do instead is start with the business use case and not the tech. Are we losing customers? Are we losing money? Time? Where are we losing those 3 things or one of them? Can AI help us fix this in weeks as opposed to traditional ways, which took months? And the most important one, can we clearly measure the success in numbers? So my recommendation would be sacrifice 1 week of your time. In that 1 week, you can surface 2 to 3 areas where AI can really bring tangible value to your business, and then pick one. The second mistake they did was they tried to boil the ocean. What does that mean? Instead of trying to optimize one workflow or develop one AI feature, they wanted to do it all. They tried to rebuild the entire internal knowledge system from scratch using LLMs in months. They didn't start with the data, so the data was as messy as it was when they had their manual processes, which meant there was scope creep. There were no clear success metrics. There were no evaluations. Because there were no evaluations, they didn't know how to improve the application, and they didn't measure what wasn't good and why. So what you should do instead, you should start with one tiny, small piece of a problem, pick a valuable one, and solve that one first. For example, can you cut your customer support ticket resolution time by 20% using LLMs for classification of the tickets and smart routing? If you can do that, great, then do that first, because this is how you're going to prove the value. When you prove the value, you gain some confidence, which gives you some momentum, and then you keep on expanding on top of that, tackling more and more complex cases in the future. Mistake number 3 was hiring strategists and not builders. So what happened was they worked with this big name consulting firm. They created beautiful slides, really, really powerful presentations, but unfortunately not a single line of production level code. That meant that months of research, but nothing really got shipped in the end. So why this one failed is because, well, you can't really PowerPoint your way into a working AI system in real world. And the tip here, if your AI expert is telling you that you just give them all your messy data from the whole company. And in about a week or so, they're going to come back with some sort of system that is going to already work and bring you tangible value. You have hired a theorist, but not an engineer. You should hire someone that can help you advise on what is the best one case to start with. That person should also be able to choose the best tool to solve that problem. Sometimes it's AI, sometimes it's not. And they should also be able to architect how the solution should look, implement, and deploy in production. So that's an engineer. The number 4 mistake that they did, one thing you should never do is you should never ignore how messy your data is. What happened in our particular case was that the demo data was clean, ready for the demo. It was structured, it had a lot of metadata, it was enriched, was labeled properly. But then when they plugged in the real world data, which was in no way similar to that level of cleanliness, everything collapsed. AI doesn't live in perfect demos. It lives in messy CRMs, inconsistent spreadsheets, half-written SOPs, Slack threads, email threads, ticketing systems, tables, whatnot. So what you should start is you should start with getting your data ready. Here's what I always do to check before starting to build an LLM-powered application. So where does your key information live? Is it in a CRM, ERP? Is it in a SharePoint? Is it in emails, in PDFs, in a folder somewhere? Is it well structured? Is it easy to use? Is it easy to pull? Is it scattered across different data sources? Is there any sensitive data that needs to be anonymized or redacted? So use a real-world chaos simulation approach. So throw the ugliest, most unstructured data you can find in your company into your AI, and if it works for 80% of the cases, which is tough, then you got a production level application. Mistake number 5 was that they measured success after the deployment instead of before. So what happened was they launched, then they waited, and then they tried to prove value, but there was no way to measure success. So there were no metrics defined upfront. Trying to figure out what they should measure at this point meant a new project, basically. So what you should do instead is you should define your metrics upfront. They can be, let's cut the onboarding time by 20%. Let's increase the number of resolved tickets by 30%. And then build that measurement into the system itself. Don't wait for the finance to reverse engineer the return of investment on an AI project months after it launched. So those are the 5 biggest reasons why this 100K AI project went off rails, and the exact steps you can take today to avoid making those mistakes. And now to recap, start with the business problem and not the model. Narrow your scope. Don't rebuild your company overnight. Hire builders that can actually deliver. Assume your data is way messier than you think, and measure return of investment from the start and not at the end. Look, AI can deliver insane business value. I've seen it cut costs, increase revenue, give teams 5 to 10x productivity boosters, save 20 to 30 hours of their time in a week, but only if it's approached with business sanity, strategy, and real-world execution. If you're a business leader and you're trying to figure out how to make AI work for your business today without wasting months or burning through budgets, let's talk. You can book a free consultation call with me on my website, rokpawoledinsky.com. There's a link below. Or you can also schedule a one-on-one consultation by clicking directly a different link below. If you find this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to implementing AI into your business? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.